Welcome back to A Grain of Salt. Every fall semester, SALT breaks into focus groups to learn about various social justice topics. This year, these groups were about immigration, human trafficking, rape victims of war, interfaith relations, and international students. To start off tonight, Immigration Nation will be dispelling the myths on one of America's most challenging topics.
Thanks, Mary. I'm Emily from Immigration Nation. I also have here two specialists, Kyle Whitgrove and Kirk Bailey, here from Valparaiso University, to clear up some common misconceptions about immigration in the United States. Welcome. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having us, Emily.
All right. I just have some questions for you. Now, I hear that, and I also believe this, that it seems like immigrants come here to the United States and they take jobs from U.S. citizens. Unemployment is a really big issue at the moment, and it just seems like the jobs are going to immigrants.
Yeah, actually, the Department of Labor has concluded that immigrants, number one, keep U.S. industries competitive. They increase employment through rates of self-employment, so they come and create jobs and make many of their own jobs. And they increase wages for many groups of U.S. workers. And also, U.S. states with high immigration populations have lower rates of unemployment, so they do not actually take jobs from U.S. citizens.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's really interesting. It also seems like that compared to, throughout American history, even compared to when immigrants came through Ellis Island from Europe, it just seems like there are more immigrants coming from Mexico now in this decade, especially more than ever in history. Is that true?
Actually, that is not true. It was reported that in 1910, the foreign-born population was 14.7%, but currently is now less than 10%. The only difference is that there are more immigrants now from Latin American countries, such as Mexico, than, say, from Europe.
Huh. I didn't know that. That's interesting. And when I think of illegal immigrants, the first thing that comes to my mind is Mexican immigrants. It just seems like if you're illegal, they're all coming through here illegally, and it just seems like anyone from any other country just does it the right way. It just seems like most of the illegal immigrants are, in fact, Mexicans. Is this true also, or not?
Yeah, well, that's definitely the perception we get. When you look at the stats, we actually see that the largest population of undocumented persons are Canadians, Irish, Poles, and Russians. They come in illegally or overstay their visas, those types of things. And they're not actually Mexicans or people from other Latin American countries.
Really? Wow. Learn new things every day. And when I go to the store a lot, well, I don't go to the store a lot, but it seems like whenever I see Hispanic or Mexican, they're always speaking Spanish, and I never hear them speaking English, and it just seems like they're not, like they don't know English, or they're not willing to learn our language of this country. I don't know, what do you think?
Most immigrants actually do try to learn English. Studies show that within 10 years, more than 75% of immigrants speak English well. And actually, currently, the demand for adult English classes exceeds the supply. And more than 33% of immigrants are naturalized citizens.
That's really interesting. So, it seems like we should offer more English classes or something. And I guess when I think about it, it kind of makes sense that, you would want to speak the language, your own native language that you're more familiar with than second language. I would speak more English than Spanish. I can understand that, I suppose.
Definitely just comes naturally.
And especially this one is, a really big issue nowadays. It just, illegal immigration is a huge issue. And people seem to think that most immigrants cross the border illegally. They come through Florida, they swim across rivers, they go through sewers, they'll find any way to cross illegally instead of, doing the proper documentation.
Yeah, I mean, the images we see on the news are mostly immigrants crossing the river in different illegal ways. But actually, 75% of immigrants have legal permanent visas, and 25% are undocumented. And of those 25%, 40% have overstayed their temporary visas. So if you break that down into 100 people, there's 75 people here legally with the legal permanent visas, and 25 that are undocumented. And of those 25 people, 10% have overstayed, or 10 people have overstayed temporary visas, and 15 are here illegally in other ways.
So really, most of them are legal immigrants then?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, that's really interesting. Yeah. Well, I guess that's all we have for right now. Thanks for coming. Back to you, Mary.
Thanks, Immigration Nation. Valpo's campus is blessed with an awesome diversity of people of all different faiths. To help campus engage in conversation between religions, WIC, our interfaith focus group, will be giving some do's and don'ts for initiating these conversations.
Hello, I'm Marla Cherney.
And I'm Christopher Burris.
And today we're representing WIC, the Window to Interfaith Communications and Knowledge, which is the interfaith group on campus. Today we'll be giving you a few tips on how to hold a proper interfaith conversation between two people. Without further ado, let's get to our do's and don'ts list. Do, ask polite questions about things you are curious about. What does the color orange mean in Buddhism?
Well, orange symbolizes the essence of Buddhism through wisdom, strength, and dignity. Here's a don't. Don't just talk about yourself. So what's your religion?
Well, I became a Hindu when I studied
That's pretty
abroad.
cool. Yeah, I mean, I had an aunt who was Hindu. I don't really know much about it, but I think it's pretty cool, just being part of an Eastern religion and stuff. I mean, Christianity is cool, but I really think Hinduism is fascinating. I mean, I don't know much about it, of course.
Here's another do. Do, talk about your personal beliefs. What denomination of Christianity are you?
Well, I'm an ELCA Lutheran, but my father was Catholic and my mother was Lutheran. So I had to decide what denomination I wanted to become a part of, and I chose Lutheran.
That's cool. I'm actually a Roman Catholic.
Here's another don't. Don't listen to music during a conversation. So what types of daily activities do you participate in being a Muslim?
Well, we pray about 5 times a day. On certain holy days, we do fasting. What are you doing?
What?
What are you doing?
I can't hear you over my music.
Okay. All right. Here's another do. Do, talk about commonalities between the religions. Wow, it looks like light is pretty important in both Judaism and Hinduism.
Indeed. In both Judaism and Hinduism, it represents things that are beautiful, good, and positive. We actually have something in common with each other.
Wow, that's really great.
Here's another don't. Don't refuse to speak to someone when they're having an interfaith dialogue. So you're Jewish, right?
Yeah.
You can be Jewish by faith or heritage, right? Which one are you? Anyway, so that's a couple of examples of the kinds of things that can happen in interfaith dialogues, and we're hoping that some of the things we've just described for you can give you some tips on how to have a good one. I'm Chris Burris.
I'm Marla Cherney.
And now we're going to go back to Mary.